one of the biggest differences was that our previous broker was not running a team. He was just running a slimmed down brokerage. Whereas in your case at Momentum, you guys originally were running the Brooks Group, just the team, and then added a brokerage aspect to that. So I think that there's more of you guys were running your own ship, you guys cared for your own ship, and now you're sharing that data to people running their own ships. And so that's the benefit, that's the direction that we were looking for.
I think it's just trial and error, and whoever tries long enough, figures it out.
All right, so we have the Watson brothers today with Momentum Realty, Alex and Nate Watson, and we're going to be learning a little bit more about you guys and your business and what makes you phenomenal agents, because you have a great story and raving fans. And so let's go back in time and start with how you entered real estate. How long ago, how long have you been in the business, and what got you to get your real estate licenses?
Yeah, so I was in construction in my prior career, and was doing great. Honestly, networking was something that I was kind of new to at the time, but my job was giving me leads to follow up with in terms of construction, like repairs on the houses and such. And after doing that for so many years, I built a bunch of network in the real estate agent community. And a lot of them were like, "Hey, look, you're good at selling these construction jobs. Maybe you should give it a shot in real estate." And I was like, "Wow, that sounds kind of crazy." And then one day my dad said the exact same thing. And when he said that, I was like, wow, okay. So, it's not just one person saying that. Why don't we give it a shot? So I got licensed. This is back in 2013. And so I guess, what is this, almost 9.5 years. And it's been great. We've just been building. I still have a lot of these construction clients that still reach out to me. "Hey, what about this? What about this?" I still refer them in the right place because I still use a lot of my construction contacts to help, even in today's world. Obviously, real estate and construction go hand in hand. So the reason that it all started was just because people were recommending, "Hey, if you're selling a piece of a house, why don't you just sell the whole thing?" And so I was like, let's do that. So I convinced Nate. I think Nate did not want to join. He was not inclined in the beginning, I don't think. Is that what were your thoughts on that, Nate?
Oh yeah. So I was in school. I had just dropped out of school at the time. I was taking the advice of all of our family that we should be in the medical field, and we really did not enjoy it. And so I had just quit, and I was just working at the time. I didn't really have any direction, and he was like, "Hey, come take this class," and I was like, "Well, might as well. I'm not doing anything else." So I just kind of took it on a whim and just kind of went with it. We didn't really have any plans or any knowledge or really any foresight on like the business or anything, really. It was just honestly, a whim, to be honest.
I love that. I think a lot of us has gone through that. We need a change, and we don't
Mhm.
know really what it is, but someone told
Yeah,
us that
yeah,
maybe this
that's
is
right.
the right path.
Yeah, so I gave it a shot, and here we are.
It's usually the parents. "Hey, maybe you should try this."
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, my dad, he almost like solidified it. That's really what it come down to in our case, is that, people were like, "Man, you're doing good at this, and just sell the whole thing." And it's like, dang, that's probably a good idea.
Why only get part?
Right?
Perfect. So
Exactly.
9 years ago, and were you always in business together, or did you have separate businesses?
No, we were not partnered together in the beginning. Even that first year, the first few years, we still were kind of just figuring it out. Both of us. Alex had sales background. I had never been in sales ever, and the thought of having a sales position honestly scared me. And Alex, he was already doing sales. It was easier for him to get started. Me, it took years for me to really get rolling and to kind of figure it out. I joined several teams. I learned a lot, but it was about 5 years in that we actually grouped together and formed the Watson Brothers. It was just the timing was right, and we were both. Alex was still selling roofs. He was also selling houses. I was at the time just selling houses, and I was like, let's just partner up and just go, full speed. We could probably do way more, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what happened once you did decide to
Oh, yeah,
partner?
yeah. We
Yeah.
really leaned into our, specialities, and we kind of split up the work. And Alex was, A+ salesperson. I was more operations and managing listings and stuff like that. And that's kind of how things fell. That's kind of how it is.
Alex, do you feel the same?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd say what it turned into, it really how it started was I was at Watson Realty Corp where I started, where we both started. Nate had bounced around on a couple teams, and at some point I was just, doing fine at Watson, but I was like, man, they're taking, a pretty big cut, and they're not really offering much other than the initial training that they gave me, which was great. I went to the Watson School of Real Estate. So I was grateful for that, but it was time to move on. I was like, man, I'm not getting enough value out of my broker. That is, compensatory to how much they're taking basically. And so I was kind of like leaning towards that. Nate was already at a different brokerage. I think he just moved back from Atlanta.
I was in Keller Williams at the time.
Yep, you were at Keller
And
Williams.
I actually met John years ago when I was with CC Underwood's team. I just in passing, I had bumped into him.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny how you kind of closed the loop on that. Yeah, we were just ready for a fresh start. Yeah, I remember having the conversations with Nate. And I was like, man, we should team up, man. That would be so cool. We'll make a brand, Watson Brothers Group, XYZ. There's just all these fun ideas. And we just realized it doesn't have to only be a job. Like there was a lot of fun aspects behind it. We had aspirations. We were excited. We were ready for a change. We had already seen income. But now it was like, man, if we're doing it good on our own, what if we work together? And people just loved it,
I think it's great. Congratulations on forming a successful team and sticking with it. So it's been about 5 years. And, a lot happens in 5 years, right? So teams a lot of times don't last. They go through highs and lows. Did you guys have any pivotal moments or super highs and lows that you experienced as a team? I know it's not easy.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think we've probably gone through the same thing most people go through, especially when becoming a business owner, is that, you first start making money and then you kind of don't know what to do with it. And so, you just kind of go on some spending sprees, and just like the first time either of us had money, we grew up very, very poor. And so, we had to kind of take a step back and pay some back taxes, get an accountant, get everything legal, talk to, different attorneys about this and that, and just make sure everything's legal. Now we've got everything automated, so we don't have to think about it anymore. And so it is more like a job now. We created it so that it feels like an easy job to us, and so, but we had to go through those, ups and downs of the market, ups and downs of business ownership, learning the flow of the year. In the winter, it slows down a little bit, so you got to be ready, stuff like that.
Alex, how do you feel about that?
Generally just getting used to working as a team. I would say, honestly, it was relatively smooth. Just, obviously figuring out our systems. I think previously Nate had mentioned he had taken on operation side. I was more on front end and sales. So if we look back, you'll see me in a lot of photos, and people were asking, well, where's Nate? I know Nate's working too. And, it's just like, well, Nate's working on, putting the listings on the market, or putting together some of the research that's needed, or, XYZ. It was that back end work that was really keeping everything, making me look good, obviously. So yeah, we just finding our niches, honestly, was not difficult in my opinion. I thought it all went very smoothly. The only times we reached struggles were when there were dynamics from outside of the party. So there were just different circumstances where we're like, wow, let's try this. And we would try it. And then it would, something outside would cause an issue between us internally. And that we realized, wow, that's crazy. So, we really, over this time, have realized, man, working together has been great. It's working with others, like trying to get them to care as much as we do, so to speak, is really difficult. And we realized that, I don't know, maybe we're just one of few, or we're just so like-minded. It might be that our visions are aligned so well. I'm not sure if that's what it is, but I just found it very easy to work with my brother. That's a good thing, I think.
It's a huge thing. You found someone that you can have synergies with. Like you said, you found your niche. Dive in a little bit more to people just don't do it like you guys, because, we've gone through that as a team too. Some people it just does not work out, whether it's mindset, actions. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think part of it is like an OCD mindset. Someone might not be as OCD as I am. And so it's just like, oh, that person's been waiting for an answer, and it's been like 8 minutes. that's a long time in my book, but I'm seeing other things go by, like 2 days go by before they get a response. And I'm just like, that blows my mind. I'm the guy who was, when I first started in this business, jumping out of the shower covered in soap, trying to pick up that phone call for a lead. And so,
I'm getting deja vu.
yeah, I mean, trust me, all day. It, I guess it is that OCD mindset. It's just that, like, if someone's got to care more than anybody else, and it just, for some reason, it seems like I end up being in that top edge of like, hey, they need that response like now, or hey, why don't we answer that question before they even ask the question? Because we already know. It's just like, hey, any house that you look at, we want to know, is this in a flood zone, or how much property is buildable here? So why don't we answer that question, have the research done before you get to the showing, and maybe you bring it up, or maybe you wait for them to ask for it, but either way, that the answer's been done. So a lot of my customers tell us that our systems in place really, just, it helps the whole job seem seamless, right? So introductory email goes out, we meet them at the property, the research has already been done, hey, do you need a lender? And it's just every piece of the way. It's less about showing them the house, it's more about building them their plan, right? This is a life plan here. This is not just like, hey, sign the paper and you'll get your house in 6 weeks, right? This is, where are you at now? And is this purchase feasible? Is it going to work? Who are we teaming up with? What lenders, what title companies, what house do we even want? How many kids do you have? Because it's the worst thing when you have someone that buys a property and 2 months later they got to sell it because they didn't realize something. I mean, we have a customer right now just bought a house, and now they've already outgrown it. So it's just like, oh my goodness. So we have to figure that out, because that's not even in the real estate scope, right? That's the family life planning scope, right? So I feel like just taking care
Paying
of
for
the,
all the unanticipated things that could happen, and being their, what is it, their fortune telling ball. Like, you may not know this can come up, but I know that this may come up. And which we had talked about, I heard you guys talking earlier about this, is the level of care and concern, right? You treat it as if it were your own. So I would love if you could talk more about that.
Yeah. What I was saying earlier was that, I thought it was a good way to think about it for yourself, is just to think, if I was buying this house, what would I do? What research would I do? What, quotes would I get? And, what things would I request? And just go ahead and do all that for your customer, as if it's your house, or if it's your mom's house, or if it, someone you love, you're buying it for your family member. What are all the things you go above and beyond for them? Just, if you can build a system that gives your customers that, then you'll just always win. It's just easy to compete. I've had customers tell me that, they say, Nate, you when you get to the show, you tell me what it's worth, and you tell me all this information, and I'm like, yeah, that's my job. And they're like, well, no other agents do that. And I said, oh, so that's all I got to do. And so that's what we think about. It's like, we just have to be great, and then we'll be better than most people.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you guys mentioned you're in a building phase. So your business
Yeah.
is growing and bringing on leverage. So we've got, your niche, we call it stay in your lane, but then you're also starting to grow and expand. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we've had a TC for years, and they've been amazing. They helped us grow significantly, and we really favor automated marketing. So, postcard campaigns, IDX websites, stuff. We are launching a FSBO expired calling campaign, but we really prefer the automated stuff. If we're trying to automate social media posting, we want these software and systems to work for us, whether we feel good or not that day. And then, so we're scaling our marketing, and we are also building our training for a VA. So we're going to add to the TC by adding a front-end VA who's going to help us close sales, who's going to help us research properties, book appointments, input customers into the new system, and then even put listings on the market. So we're going to start small, but at the end of the day, we're building out the sales process tasks.
I love that. So why now? Why bring them in now? What happened?
Well, looking at what we know now, it's kind of like we wish we did it years ago. When we hired the TC, I wished I had done it before that, and so it's all these things. It's really just, kind of like a learning phase. So like I said, I wish I did it sooner, but we've been learning it for years. I remember a book I read from Keller Williams, and it gave a testimonial from this woman from like the 80s, I believe. She was selling real estate in the 80s. She got her first contract, and the first thing she did, she hired an assistant, and she gave her only one broker desk to her assistant, and then she went out and got deals all day. And so it's not like I haven't been taught that it's a good idea to do that, but we've actually tried it a few times. We worked with a couple other agents, didn't work out. We hired 2 employees, didn't work out. So we've definitely tried, but I think it's just trial and error, and whoever tries long enough, figures it out. And so I think the VA route, we're really meticulously writing out the entire process, and then we're going to record videos, hand it to the VA so that they can educate themselves. And it'll be much easier and much less work on us for training this time.
Loved what you said, automate it so that it doesn't matter how we feel that day. The business.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Perfect. So in real estate, was this whole experience for the past, 5 years as a team and a duo, 9 years since you've had your license, was going into real estate and being in real estate easier or harder than you expected?
Oh, it's both. It's both. I mean, building all this is a lot of work. I mean, it's more of like it's like difficult over a long period of time, but on a day-to-day basis, I feel like it's the easiest job in my life.
But you said it, long-term view.
Yeah.
We got to build it out long-term.
10 years, building something for 10 years, that's a lot of work. But on a day-to-day basis, like I said, I used to load trucks for UPS at 2 a.m. This is easy. This is a joke.
Yeah.
Alex, tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, and I feel like sales has always been a natural thing for me. So in that regard, it's been easy. And I've been commissioned. My last job was commission based only. I think from the perspective of the outside, the pay scale is really difficult for people to get used to it. We're talking about, trying to build this business. Well, if you're new, it's really hard to deal with not receiving the income, right? I mean, I'm on my side, my wife, she's a stay-at-home mom. So, and it's been that way ever since we had our first child 12 years ago. So it's one of those things where I think the pay side can be very difficult, but once you get through that, like once you can somehow systematize, or maybe there's extra income coming from the spouse or something, I feel like if that hurdle can be come over and you have a long goal, like what Nate's talking about, it is easy because you don't have to, it's not like you have to, like all your time is not taken unless you focus it in the right places. Now, look, can you focus all your time in the wrong place? Absolutely. We did that in a lot of our trials and testing and marketing, trying all these different things, but then you got to know when to stop and then readjust your focus. So I think it is both. It's hard in the effect that, financially stressful sometimes, but also financially lucrative in others. But really, the experience, it's a long-term thing. So it's both. It's definitely both.
And playing into that long-term vision, you guys have long-term clientele, right? So I had heard earlier that, are you buying online leads at all?
We're about to start more. We have always in the past. We canceled for the last year because the inventory bottomed out. Last year we had Boomtown and it was good. We made money on it, but like I said, the inventory was so low that I was like, it wasn't worth doing.
But then your referral base pickup. So
yes, our referral base. Yeah. So essentially, what I was saying is that even though we've cut ads this year, our referrals have come in more than ever. Like our COI. The requests keep coming in. They keep asking about houses. They keep thinking about selling. I mean, we've got a ton of people who already need to buy and sell in the next 6 months. And we've got a ton of people who just want to buy in the next 6 months. And it's December, that's usually a very low month. And it is generally compared to like July or June or, so we definitely make the bulk of our income in the spring. But like I said, it seems like our COI just continues to feed us. And even though in the beginning we had really bad follow-up, we didn't understand it. We didn't even have follow-up boss. We didn't have a database. We just honestly did try to do an amazing job. and just kind of winged it. And these people just keep coming back to us. So apparently we did something right, even though it wasn't the follow-up. We didn't even follow up that well until now. And now we have a great follow-up boss with Lolo and focus program. So that's taken a lot off our plate. Plus follow-up bosses making it easy. But our COI continues to pay us. And so what we've decided is that, we don't want to just sit around and wait for deals anymore. We are definitely going to produce them just like we have. But we're going to, pay our bills, save some money from our COI, and then invest in some long-term marketing.
Be the procuring cause of those deals.
Yeah, that's right. And the inventory's picking up. So I think, to be honest, I think, we're going through a dip right now, but if you can get through this dip and you can still continue to market to like your farm area or whatever you want to do, that's what we're doing. I just feel like whoever can make it through this dip is going to be the one, you're going to have a lot of business on your plate.
You're going to make it.
That's right.
You're building the patterns and the systems, and you're doing what you're supposed to do. So,
yep, absolutely.
So tell me about your transition to Momentum and what sparked the change and what pain points you were going through and pivotal moments in your business. Tell me about that.
So essentially we, at the beginning of last year, we were kind of in a little bit of a crisis mode. We were at another brokerage. It's kind of similar, very minimalistic brokerage. We've been there for 3 years. And we were essentially, we were watching the market, the inventory bottom out, where we were like, well, sheesh, I mean, most of our half of our deals are buyers, they can't find anything, and all our sellers don't want to sell it because they can't find anything, right? So we were really freaking out, looking for a solution. And, we found another brokerage that was making a lot of big claims and saying that they were going to produce all this and that, and unfortunately, I feel like, and we did end up making that jump, and we learned a lot, but we essentially jumped on the Titanic right before it sank, is the way I like to say it. And so luckily, our friend Sam had told us about John and Momentum Realty, which we had heard about, but we never looked into you guys. So he said, you should really talk to this guy. They're amazing. So we did, and we were sold from the moment that appointment with John was over. We were done, and we were ready to switch. It was really a no-brainer. You guys are what we're looking for. No nonsense brokers.
Alex, how do you feel?
Yeah, that's pretty much a good account on what happened. We were watching what was happening with the market, just like basically, I feel like everyone was. Nobody knew what to deal with during this crazy COVID, scene, and it was just like, we felt the market changing, and we knew we had to change. We just didn't know what to do, and
we had no direction.
Yeah, we didn't know the direction. So we went to our broker, which is what you're supposed to do. And they were just like, we don't know. We never dealt with this either. And I was just like, well, this is not a good place to be. So we found a shiny object, and it just seemed like, okay, well, they have some sort of answer. Wasn't the right one. That's okay. We knew when to quit, and we found a better option. And it was probably the best choice that we've ever made so far in real estate. And I'd say, it was the market really is the one that forced us to reevaluate all of our decisions. And we just started frantically looking, and we came to the right place. So, yeah.
When you say, so I like the tag, I'm going to start using that. No nonsense brokerage.
Yeah.
But other than that, what did it do for your mindset, your business? You said it changed everything, and it's everything you were looking for that you didn't, maybe know that you needed at the time. So tell me more about that.
It was really
changed that you maybe didn't anticipate.
Yeah, to be honest, what I didn't really expect was to have so much clarity and understanding of the general market. I remember when we were at our first brokerage 9 years ago, and people would talk about the market, and it was like they were speaking another language. It was like some foreign idea that I couldn't even comprehend. And even up until last year, we still barely understood how to understand the market. That seemed like such a weird thing. Now, because I'm here and I listen to market updates, and John has such a great understanding of what's going on in the world, and he can put it in plain terms in our language, that I actually do understand what's happening in the market, and I can look at the charts and understand what's going on and what the implications are. So just having the ability to kind of look ahead, and now when our customers ask us about it, we can, give them a great answer and make them feel confident that they can make a purchasing or selling decision, regardless of the market conditions.
Alex, do you feel the same?
Yes, that was the direction that we were looking for in a broker, is just understanding, hey, look, things are shifting. We might be asking other professionals, but also from our experience, XYZ. I think the difference is that one of the biggest differences was that our previous broker was not running a team. He was just running a slimmed down brokerage. Whereas in your case at Momentum, you guys originally were running the Brooks Group, just the team, and then added a brokerage aspect to that. So I think that there's more of you guys were running your own ship, you guys cared for your own ship, and now you're sharing that data to people running their own ships. And so that's the benefit, that's the direction that we were looking for. Not only in the real estate realm, but as Nate was speaking, just world economics, just the finances of the world. So many things that not everybody can focus on, but just it was the unknown was the biggest problem for us, I think. And so just being able to understand what's happening, being able to talk about it and come up with our own opinions gave us peace in our own market. Then we were able to start making actual sound decisions. So I don't make a decision unless I know all the pieces in play, at least to the best of my ability, right? And so I felt like you and John and Momentum helped us gain that. And now we have more clarity on real estate, finances, the market, ourselves personally, growing a team, all of these things. We've grown so much from your help. And so I do thank you all for that.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for coming over and building out this community. So then that leads us into, you're gaining this clarity, you're figuring out what you want and what works for you. What does 2023 and beyond look like for the Watson brothers?
I would say pretty positive. I'm really excited about it. I'm hearing a lot of people talk a lot of doom and gloom about it, but to me, I just see all benefit. This is the backlash of what we just went through with COVID. So we were asking for this, we were waiting for this, and so now it's finally here. So it's easy for
2019.
Yeah, I mean, so this is it. If this is the hard part, and the next year's the hard part, I mean, I have a great optimistic mindset and I'm excited. I'm ready to tackle it. I'm ready to process more leads than ever. This was our biggest year. Nate, I think we're about to, next week, we're going to hit our goal, 20 million this year.
Yeah.
So we're ready, man. We're ready to hit.
So exciting. And that's your biggest year yet?
We want to double it.
This is our biggest year yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Every year we do more. We don't know why. We don't really know why. We just
know why. You know why.
Up and to the right. That's what our numbers look like.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Yeah. So what shift we got?
That's right.
I'm serious. I really am very hopeful and optimistic about this next year. There's too many people out there that want to buy real estate. It's all about who's going to be the creative agent to find the solution. I mean, I'm looking at deals right now. I just closed a deal up in Callahan, and I'm telling you right now, it's the best thing. I mean, wow, someone just got the half price right now. And it's a good time for a buyer. You just have to have the right focus. And for sellers, look, you can still make your money, and you just have to be thinking about the future. It's not about, oh, I'm not going to make $20,000 over. Well, why don't you look at the market, find out what you can get for it, and then look at negotiating on that next purchase, because that's where you're going to make your money. You're not going to make your money on your sell. You're going to make your money on your buy. It was the opposite of that a year ago. Okay. So, just understanding the market allows me to have more clarity on really what I should be focusing on. And gosh, there's so many buyers out there that want to buy, whether it's the college students, whether it's the first-time home buyers, even I got people trying to, they're growing families, they need more space. I mean, their in-laws are coming into town and they need a place to live. And so it's just deals happen regardless of the interest rate. Okay. So if we understand that, marketing gets a lot easier and less stressful, you know?
The opportunity's out there. We just have to hunt it down. Some
Yeah.
people are not willing to hunt it down.
Mhm.
Well, anything else you guys want to add? Because thank you so much. This has been great learning about your business and you guys individually.
Yeah, we just really appreciate you and John and helping us, and we've learned so much and we've only been here like 6 months or something like that. And we've learned so much just from being here.
I love
Yeah,
it.
we appreciate it so much. I mean, the value you guys provide to us is priceless, honestly. And so, from the bottom of my heart, honestly, thank you and John so much, and the whole team that you've set up. It's just beautiful. It's amazing. Definitely something that we look up to, and so we're just growing with y'all. So we appreciate you.
Oh, well, we are excited to be on this journey with you, especially as you double your business next year. Let's go. So it's a privilege to be partnered with you. Thank you so much. And can't wait to watch what comes down the pipeline.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.